Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to our Live Younger Lifewave introductory call, where we get to, welcome a lot of you who are for the very first time looking at Lifewave. And what we do on our call is a brief introduction of the company, the technology, our founder, and I'm one of your co-hosts, Robin Blank-Mascari, along with Gregory, my partner on every level. And he's going to start out and do a short presentation. And then after that, we're going to bring on a special guest, one of our doctors. Tonight, we have Dr. Barbara Jennnings. And then after that, it's your turn. So if you have questions or stories, we love to hear them. And you can put them in the Q&A section. And remember that we talk symptoms only. So now it's time for me to turn it over to the presentation part. Gregory.
Thanks, Robin, and good evening, everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm very excited to share this news with you. And if you're new to Lifewave, I'm going to give a brief overview of the stem cell revolution. I'm going to talk a little bit about our company, our founder, and this truly historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. But before I do, I want to share with you kind of an aha I had a few years ago. I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older, younger. And I don't know if any of you can relate to that. It's a cool thing to think about, turning back to our biological clock, and we're going to show you a way to do that. But let me ask you a question before we get started. If anything were possible, what is one thing you'd choose to experience differently in your health, or possibly in the health of someone you love and care for? Okay. And what difference would that make for you or them? And we all know people we love and care for. Maybe you're not on the, their health is waning, or maybe it's yourself. So before we get started, I do want to note that our products are not designed or intended to heal, diagnose, treat any disease. However, they do help put our body back into a more healthy, balanced state, and many wonderful things begin to happen. So welcome to the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, and perform and live younger. And we found that stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that helps to repair and regenerate damaged cells in every organ, gland, muscle, bone, skin, all throughout our body. The problem is, the older we get, the less stem cells we have. And by age 60, only a small percentage remains. And sadly, the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And neither of those things sound very cool to me. So what about stem cell injections? They become quite popular, but you know what? They're quite expensive. They can be painful, risky, controversial, and there's no guaranteed results. Well, today we've got some good news for you, because you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with our historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. This is a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's drug-free. It's a patented form of phototherapy that uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve our stem cell activity. This is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt. And David is not only a brilliant scientist and researcher, David's also a genius inventor with over 130 patents and patent pendings. And he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. He's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our Lifewave phototherapy patches. And many more studies are always in the works. It's a very solid science-based company. It's actually a 17-year-old advanced technology company founded back in 2004, based on an energy-enhancing technology David developed for Navy SEALs to increase their strength, their stamina, and performance without drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. It's so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes all around the world in almost every sport. And our corporate headquarters, laboratory, and manufacturing is now in California, Utah, Ireland, with global distribution over 75 countries from our 15 global distribution centers. Now, the word is getting out on Lifewave, and Lifewave patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world in almost every sport. The media has begun to notice, and maybe you will too, if you watch for these little auspicious little white Band-Aid looking patches on some of the most, amazing athletes around the world. So how does this amazing technology work? Well, as I said, it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation, and Lifewave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when they're applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat, by our body's infrared heat. And then they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the basis for our Lifewave phototherapy patches. So it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause specific changes within our body. For example, when we go out in the sun, we don't get a download of vitamin D from the sun. The sun stimulates our body to make vitamin D. And likewise, another frequency of light, UV, causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, Lifewave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid, well-recognized scientific principle. Now, our focus for the last 14 years has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And I'm excited to tell you, back in January of 2019, just 3 years ago, we released to the global market the Lifewave X39 stem cell activation patch. And this truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation. And some calling this the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, because we're actually doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies, big pharma, have not been able to do. And X39 actually activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our body's own stem cells, while also altering gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. And so this is a game changer. It's a true breakthrough. And our founder and inventor, David Schmidt, says, this is my greatest accomplishment yet, with an emphasis on the yet, because David still spends more time in the laboratory than in the office. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back your biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very exciting news. So that's my part of this evening's presentation, Robin, and I'm going to stop my slideshow and turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you, Gregory, for giving such a wonderful overview of, there's a lot going on with Lifewave. And it's truly exciting to have this technology available that's, simple, available, affordable, safe, natural, and more importantly, it works. So what I get to do now is introduce our special guest this evening, and I have grown to love and respect this woman beyond the beyond, because I've learned so much from her. She is so wise, and she comes to us with, she's a chiropractor, but that's only part of what she does. She has many, many tools in her tool chest, but she started out as a classical pianist, and as a mother of 7, has a very busy life, but developed a pretty severe condition. And now on the other side of it, she went back to chiropractic school because she got healed naturally, and loves working with people that have thyroid, autoimmune challenges, and has some really powerful tools in her tool basket. I personally have been a student of hers and am in a 4-month detox program that has literally changed my life and my paradigm of how the body works and how to heal. So let me welcome Dr. Barbara Jennnings from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. I love getting to know you on many dimensions. And
Likewise.
learning from you. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's been an amazing education that we're not going to get into that tonight because we're going to talk about X39, but oh my goodness. And I will put Dr. Barbara's contact information. Our practitioners are available. I am not a practitioner. I know more than the average person, but I defer to our practitioners because they know way better, and that's their business. So this evening, Dr. Barbara, as we get started, I think we always like to find out, as a doctor, as a practitioner that knows so much, What is it that got you excited about Lifewave and this technology?
What got me excited about it was the fact that after 5 days of using it, I felt noticeably better. Before, if it makes sense for me to try something before I want to offer it to my patients, then I do. And this made a lot of sense, because who doesn't need more stem cells if they're over the age of 10? So I tried it, and after 5 days, I felt better. I felt more calm. I was sleeping better, and I had more energy. And so, sorry, just before I came on, I swallowed water down the wrong pipe. So I had two patients that I told first about it, and they both had pretty remarkable experiences in a very short time, one within 3 or 4 days, one within a month. And they were significant enough that it made me very excited. And so I decided if this can help these two people, with very different chronic long-term issues, then I'm interested. So started using them more and more.
I love it. And that's what we hear from many of our practitioners. It enhances the clinical outcome of what you're able to do with your patients. And why not? I mean, I just talked to an MD the other day, and she said, it would be malpractice if I didn't share this with my patients. I thought that was a wonderful answer. So we have this,
because the first person I told about them and wanted to try them was a man who had had shoulder pain for years and years and years and years. And he got adjusted a lot, and it helped some, but it didn't make the arthritis, the inflammation, many years of wear and tear, because he was a electrician, a handyman. And in 3 or 4 days, he went from not being able to even reach back to put on a shirt to being able to do that.
wow.
That's pretty remarkable.
Oh, and we say wow a lot, don't we?
We do.
I love it. So Gregory introduced the star of the show, X39, and this is, one of the greatest breakthroughs David's ever have. Who should be using this technology, that particular product? And is there anyone who shouldn't?
Well, I think pretty much everybody should, unless you've had an organ transplant. That's the only disqualifier, really, in my mind. And the reason is because it supports your immune system. If you have more stem cells, then you have a more robust immune system. So for that reason, organ transplant recipients may not want to do it, or are not advised to use X39. Everybody else, I can't think of a reason why they should not.
I love it. Okay. So it's safe and it's non-transdermal, which means nothing's going in the body. So there's no contraindications.
Right.
What are the ideal conditions for someone to get the maximum benefit out of this product?
Well, ideally, a person is well hydrated, and good hydration is necessary for every ideal function of the body. So X39 is, it's not magic, right? It's using light to stimulate the body to do what it already can do, and in a way it's designed to do it. That's also what makes me really excited about it. Our bodies simply don't work well in many, many ways if we're not well hydrated. So this is one of them. So we want to be well hydrated, and be sure you have enough copper in your diet, whether you eat it in copper-containing foods or in a supplement that is safe, some kind of chelate or organically bound copper. Because the first thing the patch does is stimulate your body to make this copper peptide. So that has to happen first, and then it triggers more stem cell production.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So consistency, hydration, 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
That's right. Yep. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. You don't want your body to get used to it, right? If your body is being stimulated by the same light all the time, it's going to start to tune it out like you do background noise.
Beautiful.
So 12 hours on and and a 12-hour break is important to prevent that from happening.
Great. Now you shared earlier that a few of your patients, one felt it within a week, one felt it within a month. Everyone's probably different. When you share with people, what kind of expectation should they have about noticing something?
Yeah, I think it's important to give people realistic expectations, and therefore I give them very broad expectations because we can't predict. I had no idea that man was going to experience significant reduction in shoulder pain after 3 or 4 days. And I had no idea that the lady was gonna, after only 1 month, be able to feel a foot that was numb and nerve damaged for 12 years. Then I've had other people who don't notice anything for 4 months. And, I encourage them, like I promise it's working, just keep wearing it. Just be consistent, keep it on. I promise it's working. And eventually they get there.
That's beautiful. So it could be as quick as that, or it could take time. And the beauty, like you said, is it's always working. And that's a powerful one. So are there any things that people may notice that don't feel so good or they don't like?
Yeah, I just talked with somebody today who said she was feeling tired. And that's probably the most, if someone has what may be perceived as a negative reaction, the most common one I see is that they feel more tired. And I believe that's because healing and repairing takes a lot of energy. And so it takes it from our outward movement and feeling inward into these cellular functions. And that takes a lot of energy. So I really believe that's the reason why people might feel more tired. And that could last 1 day or a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. But again, would you want to stop? No. Your body's healing. So of course you don't want to stop, but you can always decrease the number of hours you wear it. You don't have to wear it 12 hours. Every patch is good for 12 hours, but you might break up that one patch into 3 days and wear it 4 hours a day.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And everybody's different. And I love that it's always working, but it may be, and would you talk a little bit about the health tracker and the importance of having a baseline for people?
Yeah, really important. One of the really important things that I do with a new patient is have them fill out a health history and an assessment form that scores certain symptoms that they may be having. And then we revisit that at some point when it's appropriate. And the reason is because you need to be able to remember how you felt on day one or before day one. And my experience is that people often don't notice when they start to feel better or when they start to feel more normal, right? If you go from something that's nagging or painful, and then it just, maybe gradually becomes less and less and less and goes away, then, a few days or weeks or months later, they're like, oh my gosh, that's gone. Yeah, didn't even notice until you come back and you thought, oh yeah, that used to be a 5 out of 10. And now it's a 1 or a 0.
Great. So for those of you that are just getting started, what is that? We have some extra noise. I don't know what that is. That's so strange. It's been showing up lately. For people that are just getting started, we love to have everyone do a health tracker because it'll also give you some things to pay attention to that you might not think would change. What
Right.
what were some of the surprises you had, Dr. Barbara?
My skin, after 3 months, there's, I don't know, something magical about 12 weeks. My skin was noticeably, it just felt younger. It really did. It was firmer. I had noticeably fewer wrinkles. It felt and looked better. So that was one. A lot of people are surprised that their hair is growing faster or growing back, or the color even is coming back for some people. I mean, who has gray hair and then dark roots grow in? And that doesn't happen for everybody, but it happens for some people. So that's a big surprise. Little aches and pains. Another, personally, a big surprise for me is that I have a big scar here under my chin. And that is about a third the size that it was 3 years ago.
That's amazing. And so we invite you to take a picture in good lighting of your face and take a good picture in good lighting of any scars that you have. I personally have 3 very long scars, and they're very thin. It's when people look at them, it's like, oh my. Yeah. And then, my reaction time got substantially better, and that was kind of fun. That was totally unexpected, as was this finger straightening out after 20 years. You never know. Okay. So any other final bits of information you want to share before we open things up with some stories and questions?
I would just encourage people to maybe Google foods that contain copper, because that's a really important piece, right? And also look up the benefits of that copper peptide, the GHK copper peptide, because those are significant benefits as well. And I tell people, it's a double whammy with this with this patch. You get all the benefits of the copper peptide and all the benefits of having more stem cells. But having copper to make the copper peptide really is an important piece that you can't ignore.
Beautiful. So I wrote that in the chat for everybody to Google foods that contain copper and to do your own research on your favorite search engine of GHK-CU. That is the magic behind X39. And it does many, many more things than what we talk about. Like Gregory talked about, activating stem cells, altering gene expression to a younger you, accelerating wound healing. Those are things we have clinical proof for, but there's many, many more that we don't even talk about. So you'll have fun looking. All right, let's see what we got going on here. We have a bunch of questions here, and I'm going to summarize some of them because they're kind of long. Shirley, after 2 weeks, her bladder symptoms disappeared, her sleep got deeper, stamina was greater. Now it's 2.5 months later, and things seem to be worse. What would you suggest on that?
Well, things can get or seem worse when your body is changing. When you are replacing damaged cells, whether it's a lot or a few, and if it's a chronic issue, it's probably a lot. The old damaged cells don't disappear; they have to be removed. Right? A stem cell replaces a cell. It actually doesn't go in and repair an existing cell. The existing damaged cell has to be dismantled, removed, cleaned up. And as the body does that, those cells go out into that joint space or whatever space it may be. And your immune system will eat it up if it wants to, and your lymphatic system has to come and clean it out. It's kind of a vacuum and clean it out, but those things take time and can produce symptoms. It can possibly exacerbate symptoms, or it can even bring back old symptoms that had gone away. So the most likely thing is that probably that's what's happening.
Yeah. And so about how long would this last while that transition of regenerating new cells and sloughing off the other ones, you know, how long would you expect that to take?
I don't know.
Good answer. It's
you know,
it's different for everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my answer is I don't know, but don't stop using the patches because the right things are happening, right? Your body's
Okay.
not going to do a bunch of bad things with copper peptide and stem cells.
Yes.
Good things are going to happen. So most people don't experience negative things, but sometimes they do. My experience is they don't usually last very long, maybe some days, maybe a couple of weeks. I haven't heard of a more prolonged period of symptoms coming back or being worse, but I would still encourage the same thing and just stay with it and trust that your body's doing the right things.
Thank you so much for that. Because a lot of people don't realize that the body will never hurt itself, ever.
Right.
So, and there's nothing going in the body. So know that even though it may be uncomfortable temporarily, it's actually helping move things to a more homeostasis condition, which is what the body's designed to do.
Yep. Body is designed to repair, to heal, and to balance. It is always seeking homeostasis on a minute-to-minute basis.
So Shirley, hang in there, my dear. It is getting better, okay? And Jerry, he had a fusion of L4, L5, S1, and is experiencing some severe nerve damage from the surgery. And you know, he said so anyway, he's tried a lot of the patches, X39, 49, IceWave, Eon, even added energy enhancer and SP6, and he's rotating carnosine and glutathione, but he's not getting the results that he wants from the tingling and numbing on the foot from the nerve damage. So maybe different placement. What would you recommend?
Yes, I would try different placement. I think those are the right patches. I would definitely use X39 and 49. I would definitely use Eon and glutathione. Carnosine could also help.
Where would you put it?
So where is it? Is it on the, did you say on the foot?
The nerve damage is on the foot.
So actually, one of the ladies I was talking about, I mentioned at the beginning, she had nerve damage from an injury, an Achilles injury. And within a month, she had sensation returning after having no sensation for 12 years. It took longer, you know, in 6 months, it was about half back, you know, 50% back, and it's cumulative, right? So I would experiment with different placements. I would also try the IceWave patch on the feet in different locations. So using the brown patch either on the point where it bothers you the most, or a little bit further towards your toes, and then use the white one above the ankle. And it could be anywhere, could be front, side, back. And if that doesn't help, then try moving above the knee onto your lower thigh, front, side, back, any one of those locations.
That's a really fascinating, and I've been doing that lately since I watched your video with Michelle of crossing over a joint when using the 2-patch system IceWave, and it's easier than the clock method, and I think it's probably even more effective. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. Okay, so, play around with that and trust your instincts and putting the patches on different places. And you can put X39 on, the bottom of your foot, or Eon, or any of the patches you can put on kidney 1. And, if you use Icewave, Dr. Barbara's suggestion is a great one to try. So I hope that helps.
You might even try an Icewave on the front and the top and the bottom of the same foot. It really is. It really is an experiment, a trial and error. So spend some time and move it around a lot.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. And some people get medical tape, and you just practice, trust your instincts, try it in one place, let it sit there for a few minutes. If you're not getting the relief, move it around. And pain has a tendency to move. And so
Right.
one day to the next may be very different, and what worked one day may be different the next. So have fun trusting your instincts and playing around with it. But the medical tape or a Band-Aid or something before you take the adhesive backing off can be really helpful.
Yep.
Okay, so Lorraine is having hip surgery, a hip replacement tomorrow morning. What do you recommend she use tonight and after surgery?
I would recommend that you use X39 and 49. So a lot of healing has to happen right after that. A hip surgery.
Hip replacement.
Right. So collagen, right? The copper peptide is needed to make collagen. Stem cells can help make more collagen, make skin, your ligaments, all those soft tissues that are going to be sliced and have to repair. And then, so I would, have been using that for a period of time before, so that they're going, right? That process, those things are already in your blood. After the surgery, I would use both glutathione and Eon. And you can put one on each end of the incision, or you can just wear them on any of the points that in the booklets, and just have those the effects of those also going. But I think particularly with the Eon patch, closer, near your incision site should help.
Beautiful.
And actually on a hip like that, you can put Eon on one side and like front and back of the hip itself, glutathione on one side, Eon on one side, or above and below. So they're both near or on some point of that joint.
And of course,
decrease inflammation.
Stay with X39 after also.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And, I had 2 total knee replacements, and my second one, the GHK copper accelerates wound healing dramatically. And after a total knee replacement, I was off my meds, off my walker and my cane in 3 weeks. That was crazy. So the doctor was like, and you will hear your doctor is really impressed and going, how did you heal that fast? It's very fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So good luck, Lorraine. We'll be thinking about you. May it go better than you expect.
I would also encourage you to have some Icewave on hand, because that can help you reduce the amount of pain meds that you'll need.
Beautiful.
I live in Colorado, and every winter and spring I get people with ski accidents and broken legs or ankles or knees or hurt shoulders or whatever. Most people don't want to be taking opiates for painkillers. And I've had people literally only use those for a couple of days because the Icewave was sufficient.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so Petra, I'd like you to restate your question. We don't mention disease states, so if you want to state it again, that would be great. Carmen, what do you recommend for someone who suffers from a lot of joint discomfort?
Joints, the same protocol I just mentioned, glutathione and Eon on opposite sides of that joint. And if it's in your hands, then find the best place on your hands. You might alternate glutathione on the back of one hand, and Eon on the other, and opposite the next day. Maybe you want them both on each hand. I would be remiss if I didn't mention some diet changes. So sore joints, inflammation in your joints is almost always really helped by eliminating sugar, different forms of sugar, corn syrup, inflammatory foods, bad fats, sometimes dairy. Dairy is often very related, a big correlation with inflamed joints.
Yeah. And
maybe even gluten.
yes, there you go. Thank you. And of course, X39.
Of course. Yes.
I mean, I started with X39 only for my first 90 days, and I had severe joint aches and shooting pains all through my body, and it was X39, and it was gone.
Yeah, X39 may be all you need. It's not going to go away overnight, probably, but that may be enough all by itself.
And doesn't hydration play a role in joint comfort also?
Sure, it can, especially in knees. Yep, you need to have good hydration to have enough synovial fluid in those joints.
Great. Okay, so thank you. Good luck to you, Carmen. All right, Martin. I have a heart condition, and today everything seems good. Good lifestyle, some medication, blood thinners and cholesterol meds. Any concerns before trying X39 with that kind of history?
Let's see, heart condition, medication. No, should be safe for you to try.
Great.
Yep. And I would encourage you to use both X39 and 49 because the X49 increases carnosine, which is really good for your heart muscles.
Beautiful. So Nanette's asking if someone has high blood pressure and high cholesterol medication, are they okay to use the patches? Well, that's similar than the last question. Huh?
Absolutely. You use them all every day.
There's no contraindications to any medication because nothing is going in the body. So it's
exactly.
It's wonderful to know that this is really safe. Okay.
Yes, no worries with those. And in fact, a lot of people report a decrease in blood pressure after using X39.
Yeah. And is it normal for finger tealing on the first day after taking off the patch for 18 hours?
Finger tingling?
Yeah, they left the patch on for 18 hours and they have finger tingling. Is that normal?
No, but it's not impossible. I wouldn't worry about wearing it for 18 hours because really after 12 hours or so, the patch starts to degrade and wear out. So it's not going to stay full strength forever.
Okay.
So you can't hurt yourself. You can't overdo it with these patches or leaving them on for 24 hours. You know, about once every 2 weeks, I forget and leave a patch on for 24 hours, 48 hours. Oops. You know, so I just make sure I don't put that patch on again for at least another 12 hours.
There you go. Yeah, I sometimes forget the one that's on my backside, you know?
Yep.
Okay. You got time for one or two more?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Kat's asking about a friend's elderly mother with blood clots in her brain. Will the patches help? If so, which ones?
Maybe. They could. They can't hurt. So I would use X39 and Eon and glutathione, and really only good things can happen. The glutathione will decrease inflammation. So there are different reasons for having blood clots and different sizes and severities of that. But I could just say, I don't think there's any risk in using them.
Great. I don't know if you've heard the story, but Dr. Joan had blood clots in her lung, and Ian had just come out, and she was having a sonogram in a hospital in Costa Rica, and Dr. Nicholas was holding the Ian over her lung, watching the sonogram, watching the clots dissolve.
Wow.
It's like, we don't have tests for that, but isn't that exciting? So you might want to try.
Right. So you could put the Eon on the forehead or on the top, anywhere on the head. If you know the general location of where those blood clots are, put it on her head. You can stick it, you can stick it on the head, you can stick it on a hat and then wear the hat. You can also attach it just with a bobby pin to hold it in place.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Coach Clarissa's wondering, she's asking a question from Cielo. Can Alavita address skin issues?
It can. It's a great antioxidant support for the skin. So things that I have experience with, either directly or with somebody I know, skin tags have fallen off of people. Better looking skin, and just more, let's see, I can't say that word. Clearer skin. Yeah, so clearer skin. I would not hesitate to put Alavita on a person with any kind of skin issue. Any kind, and there's lots of them.
Beautiful. Okay, let's see. Petra said, what would you recommend for someone being treated for lung and brain disease with a proliferation of cells?
I would recommend glutathione and Eon. And if those processes are happening in the body, I would probably use more than one of each. So if it's in the lungs and brain, then I would I would put, a glutathione and an Eon on each lung, maybe front and back. This location is actually the closest to your lung. Most people don't realize that, but with acupuncture, I'm also certified in acupuncture. You can easily puncture a lung right here. So the apex of the lungs here, that soft spot right behind your clavicle, is a good place to put those patches for lung disease. If it's lower in the lungs, then go lower, front and back. Your lungs are closer to your back and in the ribs in your back than they are to the front. So yeah, so good. Put them on your upper back to help the lungs. And then same ones on your head.
Okay.
Get a favorite hat and stick the patches in.
That's really fun to do that. Okay, and Ravel, for the final question here, please comment on maximum 6 different patch types at the same time.
I don't understand that question.
Well, I guess you heard that you should only wear 6 different patches at once. I never heard that, but how many different patches do you recommend someone wear at once?
Well, it depends on the person. If someone's very sick, like I just mentioned, I would wear many. I know of some other people who had a rapidly progressing illness who were wearing like 6 Eon and 6 glutathione all at once. So that's 12. I don't think there is. I don't think there needs to be a maximum.
Okay.
If it's in your budget, you can wear them.
There you go. Yeah, I know when Gregory was going through his healing journey, he had multiple glutathiones on at the same time and multiple Eons on at the same time. And he recovered really well. Well, we could go on and on. There's lots more, there's a few more things here, and I'm sorry we didn't get to go to everyone, but we are after the bottom of the hour, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. If you're brand new, we're so grateful that you took the time to be here to learn about this literally miraculous technology that's changing lives all over the world. And, get back to the person who invited you. And we have a wonderful customer program. And if you're the kind of person who likes to share, you can get compensated really beautifully with our member distributor program. And Dr. Barbara, a joy always to learn from you and have you share with our community. Thank you for being with us, and the rest of you, thanks for being here. And I appreciate your compliance, you guys. Most of you, there's a few of you who could use a little work. No mention of disease states on these calls. We just talk symptoms. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
All right. Good night.